Computer. Good morning, everybody. It's nice to see you back for the start of yet again another peer support for social workers in research. And Monday is the best day to set up your week to get it all done. So, Doug, we're starting with you. What's different since we last spoke to you?
I've done bugger all, but no, to be honest, I did record my confirmation of candidature, but on
Hey, that's
Teams.
not bugger all because that
Yeah,
takes a lot of work. How'd you go with
yeah. Well, I had to do it on Teams because I could not get Zoom to record for the second time, which was annoying. I spent half an hour trying to get it to record, but it just wouldn't do it.
That's
So,
interesting. Okay.
yeah.
And
So
how did you go
I'll have
on
to send you
Teams?
the Zoom link and the
I'd
team.
love to see it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. So how did you go on Teams then? Because you're a bit apprehensive about that. I think it was last.
Yeah, big
Yeah.
team. It was okay. It took a while to find the recording afterwards because
Okay.
it's on the Northern Institute's panel, if
Yeah.
that makes sense. Thing about it there.
Yeah.
So
The-
yes, it was there.
What was the experience of recording it though? Was
It
that
was okay,
easy?
except the dog decided to have a choking fit about 12 minutes in,
I love
and
it.
then he decided to do something else with some paper bags underneath the table near the end. So I thought, no, I'm not recording again. I'm
Yeah,
bugger it.
just going with it. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Life happens while we're doing PhDs or masters. It happens. Yeah. And I actually like that when I watch other people's videos and they've got real world stuff going on around them. I love it.
yeah.
Except if maybe their partner runs behind naked, that's not so cool.
No, no.
That's never happened. Yeah.
It's like that news presenter. He was a couple of years back. He was on presenting. I think it was a he was he wasn't a presenter. He was doing an interview. He was the interviewee, and
Yep.
his toddler kids came in, and then his wife comes boiling in, trying to grab them and trying to shut the door, and
I've seen it. Yeah. Yeah. He was in his home office.
yeah,
Yeah. And the kid came in to say hello to daddy. Yeah.
yeah. So it's like kidding.
Yeah, I know. I love it because that is real life. Uh,
Yes,
and research does not happen in a vacuum. Uh,
no,
I have added up for my upcoming presentation, I've added up all of my outputs and then the constituents to those outputs, which included two deaths. So
oh,
I've had a friend of mine died recently and I was unable to go down to the funeral. But before that, you'll both remember my brother-in-law in Perth, who was a
yeah.
very prominent person, right? So it was huge. And then I've just found out this morning that one of my cousins has died, and I've said, well, he wasn't sick. What did he die from? No
Mm,
answer. So that tells me
yeah,
probably suicide. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. And his son recently suicided as well.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't know yet. I don't know
No,
details. My mind has just gone there. Yeah, but real life happens. But things happen to all of us, and that's why they have extensions. And Doug, watching our group chat with that other group that we belong to, people having to take extensions there, and then on the complete thesis support group, people are
yeah.
always wanting to know, how do I get an extension? My child is sick or my husband's left me or whatever. Yeah,
Mm.
because life happens. Now, do you have any extra color on your skin this week or not? Did that happen on the weekend or not?
This Sunday.
Oh, it's still coming. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So that's gonna hurt it like a bugger.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I was thinking of you over the weekend and I was going,
No, no, it's on the 16th, and I think we're actually going to get a 27-degree day with some possible rain. So that should be nice for a change.
on the day that
Sunday.
you're having it done. Okay.
Yes,
Yeah.
there's been 30 plus.
Yeah. Yeah, that's hot for down there. And you're in
Yeah,
Adelaide, aren't you?
yeah,
Yeah. So I've just started looking at real estate in Adelaide.
Go.
Yeah, because both of you know I am into old architecture in a big way, right?
Adelaide's got a lot.
Yes, and I've never been to Adelaide. It is the only capital city that we have never visited. We've
Oh, wow.
done everywhere else except for Adelaide. And Mount Pleasant?
Gambier?
No.
Mount, no, oh, Mount Pleasant?
Is it called Mount Pleasant, the suburb?
Yep, yep. Is it a suburb or is it in the hills? I'm not sure.
I've
I've
never
never
been there.
been.
It is it is said to be the safest place in Australia. It has the lowest crime rates Australia-wide.
Oh, wow.
So what I'm looking for my final destination is somewhere safe. I loved living on Norfolk Island where
Yeah.
never locked the house. The cars were never locked, except for Maree. She locked the car. Remember that?
Yes, I do indeed.
Yeah, but it turned out okay. So nobody locks anything up. And that's what I want. I love that. I love that
Yeah.
sense of community, the feeling of safety, trusting in other people in the streets. I really value that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, as soon as I learnt that, I went, okay, let's check out the real estate there. Yeah, I can't afford it.
No.
Certainly not on a stipend.
No, no, no.
So, Anne-Marie, what's happened in your week? And I'm so sorry I missed last Wednesday night. I actually completely forgot about it.
Yeah, there was only so Liz was there at the start of it, but she was going flying the next morning, so she only came in. And then there was just the two of us, but it was good, and the way they share what you're doing and that sort of thing. So I end up sharing um what I was doing with the art stuff, which was really good because then one of the ladies on that, I haven't heard back from them yet, but introduced me to a group at Charles Sturt Uni,
Mhm.
who there's a creative arts in research circle. Yeah. So it was good for the connections as
Yeah,
well. Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
And community is all about connections. It doesn't matter what
Mm,
community you're a part of.
no, no.
So
And
that Creative Arts in Research Circle, are they, is it a research circle? So you're participants of research, or is it creative arts researchers all joining together?
all joining together, yeah.
Okay.
And they have someone present stuff they're doing, and yeah, so
Oh, I love
yeah.
that.
Yeah,
Uh,
me too.
yeah.
Gives you
Doug,
more ideas,
yeah, absolutely.
and just that there's more people out there doing stuff that's not straight down the line, which I had no idea about.
Yeah. Oh, and me too. And as PhD students, I think it's very easy for us to get stuck in silos as well because we have to go
Mm.
deep with our research. So we've
Mm,
Yeah.
become so laser focused. It's beautiful to find out what other people are doing. And that's the value of those big groups, like finding that stuff out. So, Doug, the Wednesday night group that Anne-Marie and I have just
Yeah.
mentioned is the draw group. So departing
Oh, of
radically
course. I
from,
remember you talking about that
oh,
last week.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And even just the name of it, departing radically from academic writing, it's
Mm.
it loans permission to the fact that like everybody writes differently to start with. We've all got our own style, and it doesn't have to just be that boring academic writing, that's got 15 references in the middle of a sentence, which everybody that reads my stuff,
Mm.
they all say it's really hard to read.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I've said to them, you just have to, if you see a bracket, skim straight over. Look
Yeah.
for the end back bracket, go to the next bit. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, very difficult.
Yeah, and the other thing that I've been getting a bit more to do, you know how I like I know linking theories and those sorts of things. Well, um yeah, finding that so there's um Alberta Family Wellness. So they're in Canada, but they're linked to the Thriving Queensland Kids Partnership. And they've got a resilience scale thing they've come up with that is just about like ACEs and stuff that happens in your life, being the red boxes on the scale, and the positive stuff being the green boxes. And then they've got the purple fulcrum that can shift, you know, like according to your genetic makeup and that sort of thing, but also the skills and stuff that you learn, because, you know, what affects one person you know, not necessarily has the same effect on the other one, but in that you can, even though you've had all these red boxes, that fulcrum can move and change the balance of what's happening. So using it, and you know, they're all about you know, trying to get a common language in what they're doing. And so even with the people who provide services and that, dividing them into ones that fix the red boxes, ones that add to the green boxes, and those that move the fulcrum. And like they might do two or all three of them, but like when you're looking for a service, are you looking for, you know, a red box one or a green box one? Yeah, no, and
How
yeah,
absolutely fascinating. Wow.
yeah, so that was really good. But then there's a racy here in Australia who's got oh, there's one thing they call the common approach and the other thing called the nest. But I'm thinking about using the domains that they use so that there's commonality across that as well, so that you're sort of linking these different bits together and using the same language so that you're not only doing the research, but you're introducing the people you're talking to that language.
Oh,
She's dropped out again.
Yeah, she's dropped out. Yeah. At least we know it's not us, which is a good thing. Yeah. Yeah. I like the sound of that scales.
Yeah.
Don't you love my internet?
Yeah. I just said, oh, at least we know it's not us.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So, Anne-Maree, what's the name of the scales?
It's just called the resilience scale. And it's from Alberta Family Wellness.
And is it something that is it a visual online that you add to? So it actually shows like the fulcrum moving and the scales tipping?
It's got an animation that does that, but it also, you know, like promotes it being used in all sorts of ways, that you can just draw it on a piece of paper when you're talking to, like if you were using it individually with somebody, you can just draw it on a piece of paper and, you know, show the thing. But they had someone else with an actual scale and little red bricks.
Yeah.
Yeah, and little green bricks and an adjustable thing across the top. But yeah.
So for explaining the impact of intersectionality on self-esteem or mental health, ability to get housing, any of the social domains that you can measure, that would be absolutely perfect. Because I don't think the stale, pale males of the world have any understanding at all of what it means if you're a single mother trying to get a house, or if
Yeah.
you're a single Black mother trying to get a house, or if you're a single Black mother with a disability trying to get a house. You know,
Yeah.
you're a
So that
single-
would put your fulcrum in a different position. Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. And oh, here comes Laura. Oh, I wondered where Laura is. I have missed her. Yeah. Hello, Laura.
Oh, hello. Can you hear me?
Hello. Yes,
We
we
can hear
can
you
hear
there.
you. It is so nice to see you. How are you?
I'm okay. I have a turbulent couple of weeks. I'm at the other end of the tunnel. So,
Congratulations. And it's very nice to see your face.
yes, thank you. Thank you. Yours too.
So
How-
I'm going to swap to you in just a minute. I'll just finish up with Anne-Marie. Yeah. So, Anne-Marie, I look forward to hearing more about this and certainly seeing it in anything that you write.
Yeah, yeah. I'll send you the link to the Alberta Family Wellness thing, because it really is it's so simple, but like a great concept. And given that I'm, you know, thinking about the ACEs, but wanting to do the strength side of it, it really, yeah.
Well, certainly when you first started describing the scales, because I'm visual, my mind went straight to the scales from St. Luke's. Do you remember?
Yeah, yep,
Yeah,
yep.
yeah. So that was where I went, and getting the idea that this is digitally animated as well, so that you can actually see the tipping of the scales. Oh my
Yeah.
goodness. I do love technology for that sort of reason.
Yeah, and the other thing that I'd sort of linked with that when you say St. Luke's resources was that using some of their different strengths cards that they've got could be a good way to conduct some conversations and that sort of thing as well. That use
Absolutely.
that
Yeah.
resource as conversation things, because I wanted to focus on the strengths. I'm still got this thing, but what about the barriers? But what about the barriers? But there is research that says that an exclusive focus on the strengths has value. So
Absolutely.
it's
Yeah.
not the only thing that has value. Acknowledging, and you do acknowledge the barriers, but the focus of your research is actually on the
strengths.
strengths.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have the St. Luke's Innovative Resources Talking Up Strengths cards?
Yeah,
Okay.
I've got a really good collection of St. Luke's resources that
Yeah.
there's something I used a lot. So yeah.
I have too, including in supervisions, which is a little
Yeah.
bit more difficult online nowadays. But when I was doing face-to-face supervisions, always used the cards. And I've lived in so many houses over the last couple of years, I actually don't know where my resources are. I think I might have two sets with me here, but yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
But thanks, Anne-Marie. Are you okay if we talk to Laura now?
Absolutely.
Laura, tell us what's happening in your life. Where are you?
No, I'm still in Darwin. I think I'll be here for a while. Well, my idea originally was to be here longish term. And I still haven't changed my mind about that, but I don't know how long at this point. I have resigned from Charles Darwin University.
Okay.
So
Well, congratulations to you, but it's a sad loss to us as students.
Well, I mean, I'm sure there will be somebody that I don't know. To be honest, it's very confusing whether they will actually continue to extend the support of the team to PhD students. It looks like they are, but I don't know the extent.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this was, although they called it in a different way, this was the fourth restructuring in pretty much five years.
Yeah.
They called it in a different. I mean, I got in the middle of the restructuring, although there were other issues in my case. But my feeling is that the structure of the team as it is, I mean, we, at the moment, there's still the library services as the umbrella to what we do. I'm not sure if it's going to continue in this way because I don't know. I mean, there seems not there seems no glue between the team and the library, so which should have been, happened already. So I don't know.
Yeah, and libraries are so very, very important to the functioning of everything.
Yes.
Not just in an educational sense, but in a real world impact life sense.
Yes, I know. And I mean, the new trend and the current research indicates really a symbiosis between the academic literacy and the library services. But as I said, I haven't seen much happening in the 4 years that I've been there, so I don't know whether there's a change of direction or I don't know. But it's likely, well, I don't know if you've noticed, there's been an increase in the number of success coaches, mainly targeting first-year students, but not only. And they basically do what we do. So I don't know. And
So
they
outsourced, students are employing them themselves? Or
no, there's a new, well, I would say probably, I don't know if it's a real, yes, well, it's a subdivision of the success and retention.
okay.
So success and retention, okay, there's language or learning advisor, which is under the library services, which is us, it's still us. And then now they have created since 2023, beginning of 23, the subdivision or sub-team of the success and retention team.
Okay.
And so this is made up of success, they call them success coaches. And they're social workers, actually, mainly social workers, not well, they could also be specializing in education, but they are junior. So the target are the first-year student. And the intervention is much more in depth, like they're literally calling the students that do not submit or calling the students that do not show up at the lectures. That sort of, and then of course there's follow-up work with them, with these particular students. And I think we talked about this. Well, the idea is that there's a lot of students who drop out.
Sorry, that's my phone if you hear that. Stop. Be quiet. Yeah, sorry, Laura.
Yeah, there's a lot of students who drop out, and they basically they are those who are, weak normally, or they have other things going on in their life. And unfortunately, those are the ones who also apply for the HECS. And, if they drop out, that funding basically goes wasted, goes to waste, and, precludes the possibility for other students to, at least I don't know how it works in the Northern Territory, but yeah.
Well,
So
certainly for PhD students to drop out, that's a big gap in funding because we're worth $100,000 to the university at graduation. Yeah, that's what
yeah,
the government. Yeah.
I think it's a bit more now.
Yeah,
I think it's a bit more depending on how, where, the type of content. It used to be 100,000 actually. Where did you find that figure? It used to be a lot.
Yeah, I don't know where that figure has come from. It could have even come from 30 years ago when I wanted to do a PhD. Who knows? But I've always just held 100,000 in my head. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's a bit. I think it should be more now, but it depends on the funding. For each submission, the university asking for funding has to refer to the previous year's submissions.
Mm-hmm.
So they get money depending on how many submissions there were in the previous year.
Okay, that makes sense. Yes. Yes. So no wonder they're very keen to make sure that their HDR students actually complete. Yeah. And that
And
also shows why the milestones are so damn important. Like making sure at each milestone point that the students are doing what they're supposed to do. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. Now the tricky part is that for each year outside the 3.5, I think it's 3.5 at CDU, isn't it? The cut off 3.5 or 3 years.
No, I thought it was 4 years was the absolute cutoff.
Okay, because in other universities, it's become 3 or 3.5 with one extension.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
CDU is a bit more generous, which is good. But if you go beyond the fourth year, of course, the value of their PhD decreases.
Yeah.
So they have all the, all the interest in having the student finish on time.
Yeah. Well, they really need to do something about PhD supervisions because I'm involved in a lot of groups of PhD students, not just from Charles Darwin universities. This is universities everywhere. And everybody says the same thing, that it's poor supervision because their PhD supervisors are so busy. Like they're carrying a full teaching load and they're so busy that they cannot commit to those exact needs of the student. So I find that really interesting, and I've been thinking of different models that could be attached to that, but I don't have any answers. Yeah.
Well, yes, I agree. They're very busy, but what I've noticed also in other universities, I refer mainly to Macquarie, where I was doing a similar work with PhD students, but more on a research side. Let's say I was actually researching the progress of PhD student. What I've noticed, and I think probably, I hope CDU is going the same direction, is that the university had established for many years now a PhD program. So called MRes, Masters
Research.
I'm not sure if it's Masters by Research, but and I guess there is the same thing in CDU, but I'm not sure it's the same as it's intended, for example, for Macquarie. So it's a preparation for doing a PhD.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily content oriented. It's PhD preparation oriented. So it's MRes. And that's a master's level.
Yeah.
Or there should be a PhD program, like without any, like at least a year, where students get trained to do a PhD.
Anne-Marie, you were going to say something before. Did you want to jump in?
Yeah, I think having some sort of training pre a PhD would be really useful, particularly when you've got no idea of what it entails. I don't know that I would have been prepared to do too much study before I did it though, because I was like, this is what I want to do, and I need to get into doing that. And I wouldn't have known what support or lack of support I was going to get once I started. But I'm very lucky now. Like, it started off very slack, my supervision, but I've now got one supervisor who advocates very strongly for me. He's not my primary supervisor, but he advocates very strongly that I am entitled to this supervision, and having the others there that he's really good.
Yeah, and look, I have a similar experience. My two supervisors are fantastic, particularly the one who what I'm doing is not his content area. He knows about Gramsci, right?
Yeah.
And because Gramsci's models were used in Indonesia. So he is now the Vice Chancellor of Indonesia. So I'm lucky that both of them will commit to me. He can't commit as much time as the other one does. So when I'm talking generally. And I had a shit time because 7 supervisors in 12 months is not fun. Yeah.
No.
That's terrible. Yeah. No, correct. And Laura, I've had a recent hiccup. My ethics was questioned. I used Otter AI to transcribe my interviews. So interviews were videoed on a separate platform, and then I brought the videos over to Otter AI to transcribe, and I took the keywords from that to run through a word cloud to get my inductive themes. So I already had deductive themes for my 4 questions, and then the inductives were formed through word cloud, right? Word cloud. It went through COC, no problems. It went through ethics, no problems. And then at mid-candidature review, it was picked up, and I was asked, or I was told that I probably would need to put in a variation, and I lost it because, as you know, I'm fast tracking, right? So I was not happy, but I responded, and it is now all cleared. There's no problem. But I went back to my original COC to see if it was discussed in that COC. And it's the first time I've really ever looked at who was in the audience. So I was looking to see who from CDU. Like, I knew Steve Greenland was there. So, and he's the current dean of HDR. So I knew he was there, but I was looking to see who else was there because I was going to pull out the big guns. Like, this has gone past all of the big guns. There's Laura sitting in the audience there as well. I saw your face. So you had come to my COC. So it was Piper Bell and myself. We presented at the same time. So you were there. Yeah. So how nice is that? Yeah. And now everything is fine, actually, with ethics.
Okay. When was that? Because I can't remember.
Oh, it was 18 months ago.
Was it?
Yeah.
Wasn't last year. No.
It was January. What are we now? 25? 20. Oh.
It must have been 2023 because.
No, it was January 24. No. It was only last year. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. So January 24. Gosh. Yeah, but because I'm fast tracking.
Okay.
It's just, let's do this. Yeah. And I'm now going to mid-candidature, followed up almost immediately by handing in. Yeah.
Yeah, I apologize. I couldn't. I'm now. I'm having a little bit of calm, so I'll go through your chapter.
Don't rush because I've written more, so it's okay. Yeah, so maybe just go delete of that file. I've taken a whole heap out of chapter 1 and I'm putting it into the literature review. Yeah,
Okay.
because chapter 1 was just too big. But chapter 1 was absolutely fine for the indicative writing style for my mid-candidature review. Yeah. Yeah, but baby, I'm hitting it. I'm not moving from here. I'm hanging my phone up on my children, like, go away, go away, go. Oh, I shouldn't have said that online, should I? And my first response at the moment to everything is, no, I'm very sorry, I can't do that. Yeah. And then I feel really bad, like, oh, shit. But it has to be done. Yeah, this is so
For a
important.
limited time, isn't it?
Sorry?
It's for a limited time.
Correct. Yes. Yeah. And then once it goes into the editor, I'm allowing myself 2 months for corrections with backwards and forwards. Then in August, it will go to the university and they get to choose the assessors. So my supervisors can recommend, but it's actually not them that have the final say, apparently. So I feel very nervous about that. Doesn't matter. It is what it is. But then I have to make myself available again to make any corrections that they might suggest. It might come back as a pass with major corrections or a pass with minor corrections, but I need time to do that. So I'm not going to be back online with my supervisees until probably October, I'm estimating. From June till October, I'm doing nothing work-wise. It's just I'm available to make corrections on my PhD to do whatever has to be done. Yeah. So this is pointy end time for me. Yeah. No, but we're all in the same boat. Like we're all working to deadlines. So Laura, work for you now that you've resigned. What's happening?
Well, it's been a little bit I mean, the whole thing was, I mean, you might have picked it up. Yeah, the only thing that I regret is that there's that I would have hoped that there would have been like an open conversation, which I've always been, which was not, which was denied to me. And so, I mean,
how
I had no
disappointing.
choice.
Yeah.
Very disappointing. Yeah. Very disappointing. I think it has to do with, might be similar to what Tara went through. Probably not in the same, of course, not in the same, not at the same level. But there's, I think there was like an attrition in terms of what my role would be and what I could, in what capacity I would have been better utilized or employed. That was the major, and there was no intention of doing that. Like, you know, I had to do things that that were not, in my opinion, very productive from my perspective, and tasks which other, I mean, colleagues were much better at doing than myself. Like, you know, it's a pity because my role, as I was, you know, what I was doing with the PhD students was part of the strategic plan. So it was in the planning. It was fairly how can I say, defined, not perfectly defined, but it seemed to have been completely put in the back stage. So that was the major issue. And unfortunately, I have to say, CDU is not very receptive in terms of accepting suggestions. At all. Suggestions, not even suggestions, but, you know, accepting other points of views or, yeah. So, unfortunately, that's where we are.
I'm very sorry that you have had all of this go down the last few weeks.
Yeah.
I thought you were on extended jury duty still, actually.
Sorry, what?
I thought you were still on extended jury duty. I thought you must have been really busy with that.
Oh, no, I finished actually, last week.
Yeah, okay.
Last week. So that last Friday would have been the 7th. I called and I'm not on. There is a machine that tells you you're not on this. So this would be the last week.
Yeah.
So yeah. Yeah. No, I mean I have other work, but it's a contract work, and of course I'm looking for a more stable, more permanent employment.
Yeah. Yep.
And so I am. Oh, actually, I wanted to talk to that. If you were interested in participating, because I'm now officially on the project of the sleep disorders and mental health. So if you were interested, I can send you the invitation and consent form, etc., to participate as practitioners.
Oh, okay.
So,
yeah, okay. So is that done through CDU or elsewhere?
It's a sub-project. Okay, the bigger project is Let's Yarn About Sleep.
Yeah, okay. All right.
It's a huge, project, which is originated in Queensland by specialists in sleep disorders.
Yep.
And that's the first project addressing sleep disorders in Indigenous populations. And I've become part of the project for a specific aspect, which involves interviews to practitioners who have had experience with Indigenous population.
Clients, yeah.
Mainly pertaining mental health.
Yeah.
Mental health in general. It doesn't have to be specifically regarding sleep. But yes, so if you're
Send
interested,
it over to me, no problems. How about you two?
Okay.
What you're required to do, so maybe this is interesting for you to know. It's from now on, we've already had one workshop. There's three more workshops, and I'm gonna let you know the dates, of course. The workshops are 1 hour and a half max, and what is workshopped is how you have dealt with indigenous people who came to you with a mental health issue. And, you know, if sleep is involved, of course, all the better. And the final aim is to co-design resources to address sleep disorders in particular.
Yeah. Okay.
So I don't know if any of you, also there will be a final workshop made up of Indigenous practitioners. If you are of Indigenous descent, that would be great. If you have any, yes, I mean, obviously, you know, heritage, that would be the fourth workshop. So it's not a lot, it's not a big commitment, but yeah. So the workshops will be recorded. There will be groups working. So you will be in one group of 4, 5, maybe 6 people. There will be another group of 4, 5, 6 people. And of course, somebody will be online, like you, possibly. Yes, so, and there will be a production of co-designed resources addressing this problem.
Okay, well, send it to me and I'll have a look. It'll be the dates and the time that will be the stop for me.
Yeah. I think one is scheduled for the end of March. So, yeah.
Okay.
But,
and Doug, did you say okay? Was that what you said
I
before?
don't think I can. I've only had, like, in my capacity working it, it's usually been quick interventions, but not really enough time to spend with a client assessing. Oh, no, that's not true. But there's just hasn't been that much interaction with Indigenous clients in Adelaide in my work, except for in emergency response, emergency assistance, and that was sort of a quick in and out way.
Yeah, where you don't actually ask something like,
you
how
can't.
much
No,
food
you
do
can't.
you eat? Well, you
Ask
can't sleep.
Well,
no.
any type of experience is worthwhile talking about.
Okay.
Well, actually, the idea of the co-design is to counter this in and out type of approach, and especially because it does reflect a Western idea of biomedical approach, which obviously doesn't work. And especially also considering that sleep disorders are not easily related to mental health, generally speaking, not specifically related. So mental health can come from not sleeping enough or not sleeping well, but it's generally treated separately from the sleep disorders.
Yeah.
And, unfortunately, the tablet is the predominant approach still.
Yeah.
Which is a quick fix, and it doesn't fix anything.
Yeah. Yeah, I know.
That sounds interesting.
Yes, I mean, that's my idea. I've already identified the problem is that the sleep or lack of sleep, of course, I mean, apart from the environmental situation, has to be dealt with in a collective, holistic type of way. It's not a problem of one person or one individual, but it usually becomes a problem of, the family and the community members as well, the close ones. Yeah, so it's a collective approach. I mean, there's very similar studies in Canada for, of course, Native Americans, and those point to the same. I mean, if we approach the problem from a Western point of view, we do approach it at an individual level. And for indigenous population, it's not the case. So also because they give sleep a different meaning than we do.
Yeah. Yeah, I've always been surprised that sleep isn't one of the social determinants of health in Indigenous communities. So housing is, and overcrowding actually impedes sleep. So I've always been curious about that. Like, why isn't sleep one of those social determinants of health? Anyway.
Yeah, housing can be an issue.
Yeah. Oh,
but
in
again,
communities I've worked, overcrowding It's not just the housing, it's the overcrowding, like huge, really, really big. And the cost of electricity, because
Yeah.
in the far north on Cape York, it is so
Oh,
hot. And if you can't run air conditioners, one, you lose white noise, so you can hear all of the fighting that might be going on, or, there could be a party, or even just mum, dad, and everybody else talking outside in the lounge room. There's no control of that. And it's the heat. Like, damn it, trying to sleep if you've got 4 or 5 bodies, kids in the room trying to sleep without air conditioning. Oh, my Lord. Yeah, I don't know how they do it. Yeah, very, very
it's
hot.
one of those. It's interesting what you said because it's one of those, and I don't know. I mean, I'm studying because I really don't. I mean, you are the experts probably in this field. It's one of those borderline situations where they may want to sleep together in the same room.
Yes.
So, but at the same time, that impact on the quality of, obviously, on the quality of sleep. So how
Yeah.
do you manage that?
Yeah, but it's the same with us as well. Like for married couples, oh, well, maybe I'm the weirdo here, but I actually do want to sleep in the same bed as my husband. Like, and I like being able to reach out and touch him, play footsies or whatever, just to know that he's there. But shit, he's hot. Like, oh, get away from me. You're too hot. I can't sleep. Stop snoring. So it would make sense to sleep in separate bedrooms so that I get better sleep, and him too, because he says that I snore. I don't believe that because I am a gentle flower. Um, but yeah, it impedes sleep just in one bed with 2 people. Yeah.
When I used to go on excursion things with school kids, and we'd book enough rooms so that, the right number of people could sleep in the bedrooms. They'd drag all their mattresses into the same room,
Yeah.
so they could all sleep together. And obviously we went along with what worked for them. But
Yeah.
it's
And that
but
was all Indigenous kids or
yeah, yeah,
mixed? Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's the
I'd
collective.
had my child as well, but um, when she went to into grade 9 or 10, they go like, "Have you got your I don't know, ab study yet?" And she goes, "Yeah, well, no." She was the only non that
Indigenous one. Yeah.
and yeah, in the group. But yeah, they had never thought of her as being any different.
Yeah, 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 yeah. That's funny. Yeah. Yeah. All right then, cherubs. Shall we end
And one
up?
thing,
Yes,
my confirmation is on the 24th or the 27th of March.
of March. Okay, so I will be in Babinda, maybe. I'm going home for 2 weeks.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'll be down there, and I have rented a room with air conditioning because my lounge room at my house is not air conditioned and the bedrooms are too small for me to put a desk in. So I've rented an office. So
So
yeah,
when are you going down, Megan?
supposedly on the 22nd. Now I'm saying
Oh, okay.
supposedly because I still don't have a date yet for my mid-candidature review. So I've decided that given the office that I will be renting, the lighting is very poor. I know the office, I've worked in there before. The lighting is poor, and I don't have access to all of my prompts on my walls, but also books. Like I might want to show a book, for example. Thank you, Doug. This is the one I had it here
Yeah,
ready to show you. You recommended this to me.
that's how I recommended it to me. I
Okay.
recommended it to her audience.
Yeah, it's absolutely brilliant. Love it.
Yeah.
So I don't know what they're going to ask me. Right, so I want to be in my own office. I'm waiting until I hear back from my supervisor with the date, and then I'll make the decision about whether I'm going with Paul or not. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll be down there. I'm going, I think, on the 18th. Kirsty's getting a stent put in on the 20th.
Okay.
So,
For her
yeah.
shoulder.
Yeah, so yeah, they removed the rib.
Yeah.
Now they're going to put a stent in the vein that's damaged. Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Wow. So 27th?
No. So
You're the
it's on
27th.
the 20th. So
On the
I'll
20th.
go on the 18th
Yeah.
and I'll just see how she recovers. Apparently, you recover really quick from these stents. So if she does, I'll be home quickly. But yeah,
Okay.
we'll see how she goes.
All right. Well, Anne-Marie, I'll keep you informed of my movements
Hmm.
anyway, because if you're down there, we may as well catch up.
Might catch up. Yeah, go for a drive down to Babinda and say hello.
Yeah. Come and talk, come and commune with the bats.
Yes.
I've been rejected twice by Yui. And get this, Yui has used a Macquarie Dictionary definition of what vermin is and saying that that trumps the environmental statutes that says that microbats are protected.
The species, yeah.
So we are now going to, is it called ACFA, the Australian something financial review team? So that's that. And I'm already talking to a barrister.
Good.
Sorry, Yui, but no, I do not accept that you can say that these are
And that
vermin.
they're vermin.
Yeah. They're rejected on 3 grounds, but their goalposts have changed all the way along. So I'm just going, no, you've picked the wrong person. I might be incredibly busy, but I don't want my house damaged any further. We've got to do something here, and I can't kill them, and I can't just have anybody remove them. Yeah. Anyway. So
Okay.
yes, I've got all of that going on in the background, and lots of swearing from my behalf. When an email comes in from you, it's like, oh, fuck you. And a few other words as well. Yeah. And the barrister the other day said, Megan, I don't want histrionics. Like, and fuck you too. I actually do know what the definition of histrionics is, and it's not me. This is frustration. Oh dear. Anyway, all right, everybody. Thank you. It's lovely to see you. Anne-Marie, you are in big trouble from me because I started listening to our next book on Audible as well. And and you are so correct. It's like, now I have to listen to the next one.
And then I got the next one, and I'm like, yeah, I've got to stop now.
But it's interesting from a linguistics point of view and an auditory point of view that the voice of the narrator is nothing like the voice that I had in my head as I was reading the book. Yeah, completely different. And I was disappointed, but I quickly got used to it.
Yeah. The thing that I thought was, and I suppose this is more for book club, but it made listening to that book made the war and um I know the possibility of war being anywhere much more real than any movie I've watched.
Absolutely, because it was the intimate details of people just living their life.
Yeah.
It wasn't war stories, it was life stories.
Yeah. Which was really interesting.
So, Laura, our next book for book club is the Wartime Book Club. Absolutely fantastic. The bit that bothers me is, and really bothers me, is listening again to all of the books that were banned by the Nazis and how similar it is to what we're doing currently or what America is doing. The whole Dodge setup with banning words and programs, and oh my God.
Yeah. And then, you hear Chinese boats flying. Well,
It-
you know,
Mm.
the media has I don't know what the reality is because the media tells us what the media tells us, and that we doubt everything the media says to us these days because we don't know if it's true.
yeah.
Um, but the threat of stuff, and you just sort of go that like it's not impossible that these things can happen again.
Oh,
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. Juxtapose that book to 2025 and we could
yeah,
have the same characters.
yeah.
Oh yeah, it's very, very scary what's happening across the world. Yeah. All
Hmm.
right, my cherubs.
Okay
Let's make the world less scary for researchers. Yeah. Thank you
then.
all for everything that you're doing. Yeah. All right. I'll see you all
Okay
later.
then.
Bye.
See you
Bye.
next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.